You think we should go back?
Yeah, I think that's probably best. Clover nodded and left. Junpei was about to follow her when he realized that Seven wasn't following suit. Es wird Zeit für ein bisschen Trivia. Hey Seven, what's up? Oh, well... He looked up at Junpei distractedly, and then back down at the brown bottle he had cupped in his large hands. What's that? In response, Seven tossed the bottle gently to Junpei. He caught it and twisted it around to read the label. Ethyllenediamine tartrate? EDT. It's tartaric ethyllenediamine. What kind of medicine is that? It's not medicine. I think it's an industrial strength detergent. Why would they have something like that in here? Well, probably to clean stuff up. Clean what up? Fuck if I know. Still. Looks like it's cleaned my brain up. Junpei looked up from the bottle. Stimmt, der hatte sein Gedächtnis verloren, ne? Remember something? Seven nodded, slowly, and spoke. Well, I remember a story about EDT. It happened about 50 years ago. Here we go. Disclaimer. Ich habe zwischen den Aufnahmen mal ein paar Sachen gegoogelt, weil ich die mega spannend fand. 90% dieser Stories sind entweder komplett Conspiracy Theories, also irgendwelche Verschwörungstheorien, Pseudowissenschaften oder wurden vor langer Zeit widerlegt. Also nehmt alle Infos aus diesem Spiel mit a grain of salt, die sind zwar super spannend und sowas, aber die meisten davon stimmen einfach gar nicht und ich weiß nicht, ob das was damit zu tun hat, ob das halt sozusagen keine Absicht ist vom Spiel, dass die irgendwie denken, oh ja, das war zu dem Zeitpunkt irgendwie so voll so eine Vermutung und das hat sich dann später als falsch rausgestellt. Oder ob das irgendwie in diesem Universum, in dieser Welt halt dann irgendwie sich bewahrheitet hat oder irgendwie dann plötzlich Wahrheit geworden ist. Oder die Tatsache, dass all diese Trivia-Sachen teilweise echt einfach nur Hirngespinste sind von irgendwelchen Pseudowissenschaftlern und Verschwörungstheoretikern. Ob das Absicht ist. Das ist was irgendwie über die Leute dort aussagt, dass sie diese Sachen glauben. Naja. There was this factory somewhere in America making big old EDT crystals. Also auch diese Geschichte werde ich mit einem grain of salt nehmen, ne? They were making it to sell as industrial strength cleaner, like I told you before. But a year after the factory started up, something strange started happening with the crystals they were building. Water molecules started attaching themselves to the EDT crystals. This made them into a sort of mutation of the original crystals called a hydrate. Once a crystal turns into a hydrate, though, it's useless as a cleaner. The factory had to just dump the crystals. As a hydrate, they were useless. But it didn't end there. After that day, the same thing started happening in EDT factories everywhere, even ones nowhere near that first American factory. They'd been making crystals the same way, with the same materials and the same equipment and environment, but now, all of a sudden, every single crystal they formed turned into a hydrate. In fact, ever since that day, no factory anywhere has been able to make a pure EDT crystal. Even in EDT research done years before, they'd never gotten a hydrate. And after it happened at the first factory, it just spread. It was like, man, how do you say it? Like the molecules were communicating with one another, transmitting information in a way humans couldn't perceive. This phenomena spread throughout the world. Right? Junpei looked up at Seven with half a smirk. Seven stared at him, dumbfounded. Yeah, that's it exactly. But how did you know? I heard another story, kinda like that one. When? In the freezer. What? The freezer? Junpei told Seven the story he'd heard from June in the freezer in the kitchen. How one day glycerin began to crystallize. Das ist übrigens auch, also Ich habe das gegoogelt und Glycerin hat angefangen zu kristallisieren, weil die endlich mal pures Glycerin hatten. Und ja, davor war es halt immer so ein bisschen unverunreinigt. Ne? Deswegen hat es halt nicht geklappt. And the story of ice that wouldn't melt at room temperature. Auch das ist einfach, hat sich nicht als bewahrheitet ausgestellt. Ist wirklich diese Science-Fiction-Story, ne? Tut mir leid, dass ich jetzt die Immersion breake. Aber es ist trotzdem, das sind coole Geschichten. Das sind coole Geschichten. When Junpei was done, Seven looked thoughtful and absent-mindedly rubbed the scar on his chin. Ice that doesn't melt at room temperature, huh? That sounds familiar. Yeah, hold up. I feel like I can remember something. It's right there. Seven squinted. His eyes stared off into space as if he were trying desperately to focus on something far away. Do you know something about it? Know about Ice 9? Know something about it? Know something about it? I told you, I think I do. Just hold on. Seven thought hard and mumbled to himself. After a few moments he gave up. Ah, damn it. Vielleicht hätte ich ihn nach Ice 9 fragen sollen. Why do you have you asked me some dumbass question? Totally lost my train of thought. Sorry, man. But before Seven got the chance to reproach him further, Clover's voice pierced the air. Hey, what are you two doing over there? Stop wasting time and get over here. Kann ich das nochmal... Kann ich das nochmal laden? Ach, egal. Okay, we're coming. Seven looked at Junpei. Oh, well, look, if I remember anything, I'll let you know, alright? Right now we need to get the hell out of this room, though, okay? With that, he turned and left. Junpei, his mind still occupied with the story Seven had told him, slowly followed. Ja, ich hab verkackt, verdammt. Vielleicht hätte ich ihn nach Ice 9 fragen sollen, dann hätte er einen was Konkreteres haben können, weißt du? His head and left arm was sitting on his own. Maybe something will happen to gather all of body parts. Immer noch ein Schlüssel. Cool, it's unlocked. Oh, wir kommen auch in den Raum rein. Das ist ja sweet. Oh, creepy. I think you hang your coat here. There's a bunch of hooks. There's a light bulb illuminating the room. Okay, mehr gibt's da nicht so. Das erinnert mich mega an Project Zero 3 gerade. Diese Halle. Oh, jeez. Wo sind wir? Preparation Room, okay. A cabinet with a drawer in it. Let's see if... a piece of paper. What's this? Well, what's this? Is this some kind of medical record? Gucken wir mal. New material has been added to the file screen. Das ist ja spannend. Gucken wir doch direkt mal. Medical record. John wiegt 51,3 Kilogramm. John, du bist untergewichtig. Was ist da los, John? Naja, Lucy wiegt 53,2 Kilo. Auch nicht unbedingt besser dran, naja. So, das wiegt 6,2, 2,3, 1,5, 6,5, 3,4, 4,5. Okay, ich verstehe. A medical record found in the preparation room. It has records for the two mannequins. There is a male mannequin named John and a female named Lucy. The record shows each mannequin's total weight and the weight of the individual parts. Mehr ist da nicht, okay. What the hell are you doing? Don't you want to get out of here? But I'm tired. There's a long chair in the corner of the room. Okay.
I found a breaker.
A beaker, Entschuldigung. It's an empty beaker.
Meep meep.
There are 4 different lights, each one a different color. White, red, blue and purple. Does this thing react to something and then the lights light up? Das ist weiß. Weißes Licht, okay. Naja. Aha. Guck mal erstmal hier. A sink. The doctors and nurses probably washed their hands here before an operation. Nothing suspicious here. A sink. Doesn't look suspicious. That closet though.
It won't open. It looks like it's locked. There's a red plate on it. Do you think that means something?
Ich glaube ja. A locker with a red plate on it. It's locked and it won't open. Damn. It's not opening. Locked, of course. The blue plate on here seems a little suspicious though. Ich denke, wenn ich da weiter draufklicke, dann wird nicht viel passieren. Aber ich habe eine ungefähre Vorstellung, was ich machen muss.
Damn. It's not opening. It won't even budge. It's got this purple plate on it too.
So. Pass auf. Item. Gehen wir erstmal in Rot rein. Mal an.
Hey, it turned red.
Forget about that. Didn't you hear that just now? Ja, ich hab's gehört. Ein Bein. Fake right leg. The right foot of the medical mannequin. I guess it's a woman's foot, but damn, doesn't look hot at all.
Have you got a thing for feet, Seven?
No, that's crazy.
You're sure acting kinda shady.
He's acting kinda slim shady. The right foot of a medical mannequin. Ich glaube eher, der hat ein Ding für Puppen. So. Blue liquid.
It's blue now.
I think I heard another noise. Gucken wir das nochmal an. Fake left leg. Ja. Hurra, hurra. Search.
This is the left foot of the mannequin. Do you think I'm better?
What?
Do you think my legs are skinnier?
Oh no, Clover. Left foot of the medical mannequin. The kids are not alright. Sie fangen an, sich mit Puppen zu vergleichen. Okay, das machen sie eigentlich schon seit den 90ern. Das ist ganz schön voll jetzt. I got it. You combined the red liquid and the blue liquid to make a purple one.
Good job, Junpei.
Wow, ich kann Farben mischen. Ja.
The purple light came on and I heard it unlock. I'm sure it's unlocked. The locker with the purple plate has gotta be unlocked.
Alright, let's see what happened. Fake stomach. Das ist so gruselig, ey.
This is a really big nose.
Das könnte eine wirklich große Nase sein. That's no nose. It's a stomach.
Oh. A stomach. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap.
Hey, that ain't a drum kit. Stomach of a medical mannequin. Okay. Tür. It's locked. It won't even budge.
Do you think this is the exit?
Ich glaube ja. It's locked. It won't open. What's this? A light switch? Doesn't seem to be working. Looks like a light switch, but it ain't working.
It ain't working.
Okay, ich glaube, wir haben alles, was wir brauchen. Okay, so we've collected the 6 parts of the medical mannequin. So the ones we've got must be for Lucy, right?
Yeah.
Seems like it. Well, I say we give Lucy her parts back. Any objections?
Nope.
Agreed. Alright, let's get started. Combine! Hurrah! Hello, Lucy.
Hey, nothing happened.
That's odd. Maybe it's the wrong rate.
Wait?
Yeah, well, you know how there's a scale on the side of the bed? Maybe we need to get the scale to a specific number. How are we gonna do that? I think we're supposed to swap her body parts with John's.
Oh.
Let's give it a shot. Operating instructions. Let's go. The screen below displays 2 medical mannequins. You can switch the body parts by touching the part you want to switch out, and then the part you want to switch in. Okay, warte mal. So mal zurück. No dice. I think if we knew the weight of each part, we could figure it out. Ja, aber das wissen wir doch bald. Sie muss 53,2 Kilogramm wiegen. Er muss 51,3 Kilogramm wiegen. Das ist so kompliziert, warte mal. Bin jetzt mal so ein kleiner Frechdachs. Und mach mir einen Screenshot auf. Oh, ich bin so ein Cheater, aber naja. Was man nicht im Kopf hat und so. Okay. So geht's, ja. Jeez. Okay. Back. So. Ähm. 53,5. Und 51,0. Seins muss 2,3 wiegen und ihres muss 2 wiegen. Okay, dann ist das hier Johns Herz. Weil es 0,3 mehr wiegt als ihres. Okay. Die Chest ist bei ihm 6,2, bei ihr 6. Das ist... halt, stopp. Das ist auch die richtige. Okay. 1,5 und 1. Das stimmt aber auch. Stomach. 5 und 5,6. Parts, die stimmen alle. Mit meinem Screenshot überein. Ah, die müssen unterschiedlich wiegen, okay. Also er muss 51,2 wiegen. 51,3 und sie 53,2. Ha. Das war relativ easy, ja. Hey Junpei, I just heard something. It came from John's operating table. You better check it out. Tut mir leid, Lucy. An old operating table. The mannequin is laying on it. Hey Junpei, look at the scale. Yeah. Huh? The lid on the scale. Oh. Hey, it opened. Oh, I get it. It must have opened because we matched John's weight to what's on the chart. Das ist ein Jupiter-Schlüssel, gell? There's a mark engraved on his key.
I think it's a Jupiter symbol.
Key with the Jupiter symbol engraved on it. Stopp. Ich habe noch die lila Flüssigkeit aus irgendeinem Grund. White cloth. Was ist mit ihrem? Scale. Display now shows 53.2 Kilogramm. Ist das der Schlüssel? Hey, hold on. Junpei stopped, about to put the key into the doorknob. What's up? Where's Clover? Huh? Junpei turned around. Clover was nowhere to be seen. God damn it, where the hell did she go? Okay, just hold on a minute. I'll go get her. Sure thing. Junpei left Seven at the door and headed back to the operating room. He found her, standing next to the operating table. She was staring at the mannequin. Hey, Clover, what's wrong? Come on, let's get out of here. She didn't respond. If she hadn't been standing up and breathing, Junpei might have thought she was dead. What are you doing? Did you want to come back here and say goodbye to John? It wasn't the best joke, but it was something, an attempt to lighten the mood. Clover didn't laugh. She stood stock still. She stood stock still and said nothing. Hey, Clover, can you hear me? Perhaps it was something he'd said, or perhaps it was something else. Suddenly her mouth opened and she whispered in a dry, dead voice.
My brother might be dead.
Huh?
That's why we couldn't find him. If he's dead, I'm going to be next.
Suddenly the operating room felt very, very cold. What are you talking about? What's wrong with you? He gave her a small shake, but she still didn't respond. The silence grew heavier. Junpei, what do you want to do? Told Clover they needed to leave. Gave her the 4-leaf clover. Oh yeah. He didn't know why, but suddenly Junpei remembered something he'd been given earlier. He reached into his pocket and dug it out. A 4-leaf clover. Santa had given it to him in the second-class room. He held it out to Clover. Did you know that each leaf on the 4-leaf clover means something? Hope, faith, love, and luck. Take it. Use it as a good luck charm. He pressed the 4-leaf clover into her hand. Listen to me, Clover. No matter what happens, you can never lose hope. You have to remember what's most important, and that's to have faith and to have love. If you can remember all of those, that'll bring you good luck. Snake, I mean your brother, he's not dead. He's alive, somewhere, I'm sure of it. You've just gotta believe in that. Clover stared at the 4-leaf clover in her hand. You could see tears start to form at the corners of her eyes.
Thank you.
Her voice was tiny and broken, and as she spoke, she started to cry. She tried to hide her tears by looking at the floor, but it did little good. She wiped away tears with the baggy arms of her jacket, but more quickly took their place. No matter how she tried, she couldn't stop crying. Her tears made small wet circles on the floor.
Thank you.
She said it again. Then she looked up at Junpei and seemed to choke down the last of her grief. She did her best to smile. Junpei wiped an errant tear from her cheek with his thumb and gave her the best smile he could manage. Now come on. Seven's waiting for us at the exit. But still, she didn't move.
Wait. Before we go, there's one thing I want to ask you.
What's that?
What do you think when you hear the word experiment?
For a moment his mind froze. Was ist das für eine Frage? Then he came back to his senses and realized the word meant nothing to him, aside from the dictionary definition. What?
Oh. I guess it was just a coincidence then. I mean, that you knew about the four-leaf clover.
Look, I'm sorry, I don't want to be a jerk, but you're making less than no sense right now.
Oh, no, it's nothing. Just forget about it.
Oh, don't give me that. You really think I could just drop this? What's this experiment you were talking about? Clover looked away. The four-leaf clover was still in her hand. Die Bedeutung des Kleeblatts, ja? Sie fragt sich, woher Junpei das kennt und erzählt was von einem Experiment. Wir haben das alles, diese ganzen Infos und das Ding von Santa. Ich sehe da eine Connection. She stared at it for a long moment and then finally spoke.
You promise you won't tell anyone?
Cross my heart.
Really?
Really.
I can trust you, right?
Of course you can. Clover slipped the four-leaf clover into her pocket. Her eyes still red from crying, she looked up at Junpei.
Okay, then I'll tell you. I'll tell you what happened on the ship 9 years ago.
Was? Wait. On this ship?
Yeah, this ship.
He was entirely lost. He had 1,000 questions, but it was probably best, he thought, to save them until Clover had finished.
It was an experiment to test some sort of psychic thing. Something about communicating through these fields that you can't see.
Fields that you can't see? He'd heard something like this before. Clover nodded.
Like, think about this.
She pointed at the operating table. On top of it was a somewhat mismatched medical mannequin whose parts had been swapped with another mannequin.
This is John, right? But is he really John?
All Junpei could think was she has finally completely lost it.
Isn't this like Locke's socks? Or the ship of Theseus?
Ich verstehe, was sie meint, ja. Junpei grew even more confused. Natürlich hat keine Ahnung. He'd never heard of either of those things, although they sounded smart.
You don't know? You haven't heard of those paradoxes?
Junpei shook his head. Clover laughed.
Okay, well, pay attention then. This is how Locke's socks works. Let's say I've got a pair of socks. They're my favorite socks. One of them gets a hole in it. What would you do if that was your sock, Junpei?
Patch it up? Well, I guess I'd patch it up. Get some cloth and close up the hole.
But what if another hole opens?
Well, then another patch, I suppose.
What if another hole opened after that?
Another patch, I guess?
Well, let's say you just keep adding new patches, until eventually the original cloth of the sock is totally gone. Once you get to that point, can you really say they're the same sock you started with?
That's tough. Junpei crossed his arms. So, that's the Locke's socks thing?
Yeah, the ship of Theseus is a lot like it.
The ship of Theseus. If you keep fixing the damaged parts of the ship, eventually it ends up with none of the parts it started with. Can you really say that the ship is the ship of Theseus that you started with? And what if you took all of the old parts from the first ship and built another one somewhere else? Then which ship is the real ship of Theseus? The one you repaired? Or the one you built with all the original parts? It was an interesting question. Clover could see Junpei was intrigued.
Hey, do you think it's the same?
What's the same?
These guys. Is this John? Or is it Lucy now?
Junpei looked at the operating table again. A mannequin full of body parts from a different body. Clover had been right. It was just like the locks, socks and the ship of Theseus. The part of the body that holds a person's identity is the head. Of course, for many hundreds of years, conventional wisdom had held that a man's identity resided in his heart, or any number of internal organs. John's head and heart were both his. But apart from that, and a single arm, the rest of his body had once been Lucy's. Was that mannequin really John?
You're just like these mannequins.
She looked at Junpei again.
Think about it. The cells in our body change every day. Old ones die and new ones are born. Maybe part of my arm is made of stuff from a fish I ate once. Or maybe part of your right side is made from a cow you ate. If you take it a little further, those cows and fishes are made from something else too, right? That's how we are all connected. Through fields that can't be seen with the naked eye.
The silence was broken by Seven.
Hey! What the hell is taking you two so long?
Seven's head appeared in the doorway. He was not happy.
How long are you gonna make me wait? We don't have time to screw around.
Junpei and Clover looked at each other. Clover looked at Junpei as if to say there was more she wanted to tell him. She shook her head. Whatever she had to tell him, she didn't want to tell him in front of Seven. Seven seemed to catch on.
Oh, what were you two doing? Was it some sort of secret meeting?
No, it wasn't. We were just playing with the mannequins.
Huh?
Let's go, Junpei.
Moving a little bit too fast to be entirely innocent, Clover headed toward the exit. Clover kennt Seven. Und Seven kennt sie nicht, weil er sein Gedächtnis verloren hat. Oder er tut nur so, als ob er sein Gedächtnis verloren hätte. Und sie hat Angst vor ihm. Und es gibt etwas, was sie auf jeden Fall von diesen ganzen Paradoxon, diesem Experiment nicht mit ihm teilen will. Vielleicht, weil er Teil davon war. Wer weiß. Seven stared after her, then turned to Junpei with an amused expression.
Playing with mannequins, huh? Didn't know you were into that kind of thing, Junpei.
Nein, das bist du. You're a dick. Junpei dashed past him and traced Clover's path out the door. With a short laugh, Seven followed. They stood, looking at the door. Junpei took out the Jupiter key. Alright, I'm gonna open it now. Is that cool?
You don't need to keep asking. Just do it, alright?
Heh, fine then. He slid the key into the keyhole and turned it. He felt it unlock. The door opened with a soft, melancholic creak. Beyond it lay a simple white hallway. There was no fanfare or confetti. Obviously, there was no one there to applaud them. They simply walked through the door. That was it. Alright, let's get going.
Hey man, what's up with you? You're so serious, you know? Can't you sound more happy? You know, get a little excited?
Not really. Junpei turned away from Seven and took his first step down the simple white hallway. My brother might be dead. I'm going to be next. Clover had told him only a few minutes before that her brother was probably dead and she was likely to follow him. How could he pretend to be happy after hearing something like that? You found it. Ich weiß nicht, was wir gefunden haben, aber wir haben es gefunden.
Was ist das denn für ein komischer Winkel?
They left the operating room. The hallway took them around several corners and past several doors, but they were all locked. Until at last, the final door was hidden in a corner of the hall. Junpei grabbed the handle. As he made to push it open, a voice stopped him. The voice came from behind him and belonged to neither Seven nor Clover.
Junpei!
He spun around. He saw someone running toward him from the other end of the hallway. There were 3 people coming toward Junpei and his companions. Santa, Lotus, and June. They pulled up short in front of Junpei, breathing hard.
Whoa, what the hell is this?
What are you doing here?
What? But we didn't... Before he could finish, Clover spoke.
Hey guys, could you come take a look at this?
She was standing near the end of a small hallway that branched off to the right. The rest of them ran over to her, curious as to what she'd found. There was something on the wall at the end of the hallway. A map of the ship's interior. It said sea deck on the upper left corner. It was, they assumed, a map out to the floor they were on. Door 7 and Door 8. The map confirmed that what they already knew. Both doors led to the hallway where they had found themselves. Was haben die denn für einen Scheißweg gehabt? Ha! Gut, dass es nicht wir waren. In fact.
Yeah, isn't that what I said? We aren't gonna be split up permanently till we find door 9. We might get separated for a little while, but we'll see each other again. Otherwise we won't be able to open door 9. That's how the Nonary game works.
Junpei looked at the map of the ship's interior again. As he looked more closely, his surprise and excitement gave way to weariness. Das waren 7 und 8. Das hier hatte nix und das hier war Tür 3. One by one, the others saw what he'd seen. They moved as one for the door. He pulled the map of the ship's interior off the wall and put it in his pocket and followed the others. The 6 of them stood in front of the door, arrayed in a semicircle. Santa stepped forward. Oh, ich weiß. Oh. He took hold of the door and spoke without looking back at the other 5.
Ready?
I'm gonna open it.
Slowly, all 5 nodded in their silent assent. With a deep breath, Santa threw open the door. They poured in through the doorway and into the room. Even without looking around, each of them knew where they were. They were just where the map had said they would be. The same room they'd been in not so very long ago. Willkommen zurück. A tremendous central hospital room with empty beds from wall to wall.
Das heißt, wir kriegen Ace zurück. Ja!
I see. I believe I understand what you're saying.
The 6 of you split into 2 teams and went through doors 7 and 8. You solved the puzzles in the operating room and the laboratory, and then met one another in the hallway after opening your respective locked doors. He looked like anyone might after only just waking up, but it seemed that his brain was working as well as ever. He had managed to grasp, summarize, and understand each team's report. At any rate, I feel a bit silly for my little show of altruism. Nein, Ace, ich hab dich gern. Oh. Ein alter Mann.
I'm sure you'll be back for me. I did hope you would come back, but I confess I didn't think you'd be back so soon.
Ace shook his head with a rueful smile. Ich bin so happy, dass wir den wiedersehen. Ah. Oh, das Game, das spielt so mit meinen Gefühlen, ne?
Well, we saw each other again, and we ain't dead, so I say that's good enough.
7 smiled.
Anyway, I say we get out of this creepy old place. We found the key we need.
The key?
Ain't that what I just said? I'm talking about the Jupiter key. We found it in the operating room. Right, Junpei?
Junpei nodded.
Ah, the solar system keys. Actually, you found one in the laboratory as well, too. Here, the Earth key.
Lotus stuck out a still warm key with an Earth symbol on it.
I might lose it. It's probably better if you hold on to it. That way it won't be my fault if it gets lost.
And with that she pressed it into Junpei's hands. He felt slightly less than honored. As a group, they now had 3 keys that had not been used. The Jupiter key, which had been found in the operating room. The Saturn keycard, as far as Saturn, okay, which had been found in the kitchen. The Earth key, which Lotus had just handed to Junpei. Junpei tucked the new keys into his pocket. June spoke up.
The Jupiter key is supposed to be for the door at the end of the long straight hallway, right?
Yeah. If the map's right, then it connects to the central staircase. Then next to the stairs...
Wait!
They were the first words anyone had heard out of Clover in quite some time. Her face suggested they weren't going to be very happy words.
What about door 3?
Look. You saw the map, right? It's the same as 7 and 8. It just led us back to the big hospital room. There's no point in seeing what's on the other side of the door.
There is a point. At least there is for me.
There were tears in her eyes, but she glared at 7 as hard as she could, just the same. She looked very much like a frightened puppy. There wasn't a man alive who could have resisted those eyes. 7 looked everywhere in the room except at Clover and muttered and coughed apologies under his breath.
Yeah, you're right, I'm sorry. Snake might be on the other side of door 3.
Clover nodded once. The next person to speak was Ace.
Very well. I'll be coming with you then. I've had a nice long rest. I think it's time I was up and about again. So 7, you'll help me, won't you? Huh? Me?
Junpei did the calculations quickly in his head. 4 plus 1 plus 7 equals 12. 1 plus 3 plus 2 equals 3. It looked like 7 was doing them too. At last he gave up.
Damn, well I guess that's how it's gotta be. So I'm going with you, huh?
Yes, you are.
Alright, let's get moving.
And so it was decided that Clover, Ace and 7 would discover what lay beyond door 3.
Okay, we're heading out.
Be careful.
Oh, didn't think I'd be hearing that from you, Lotus.
Don't let it go to your head. I'd be in trouble if the 3 of you bothered. The rest of us can't open the 9 door.
Ah, the truth comes out.
7 nodded as if this answer made much more sense and pulled the lever on the red. Okay, dann sind die 3 wieder weg.
Okay, let's go.
The door opened and Ace, Clover and 7 jumped through it. 6, 7, 8. After exactly 9 seconds, the door closed noisily.
Alright, we should get moving too.
Huh?
Get moving?
Where are we going?
Everyone except Lotus seemed rather confused.
Well, it would be a waste of time to just sit around, wouldn't it? Let me explain. I get it. We're gonna see if we can get anywhere interesting with the Jupiter key. Yes. If we're lucky, we might find Snake.
Ich habe gerade einen ganz furchtbaren Gedanken. So, okay, pass auf. Wenn, also wir haben Snake nicht mehr gesehen, also wir haben uns aufgeteilt für die Suche. Wir haben Snake nicht mehr gesehen seit dieser Suche, ne? Das heißt, er muss dabei irgendwie verschwunden sein. Wenn er wirklich hinter einem dieser Türen ist, mit dem Jupiter Key oder mit dem, eigentlich mit dem Saturn-Schlüssel. Wenn er hinter einer Tür mit dem Saturn-Schlüssel ist. Oder sowas. Das kann eigentlich gar nicht sein. Nee, pass auf. Nee, nevermind. Nevermind. Mein Gedanke war jetzt gerade irgendwie, wir wissen gar nicht wirklich, was Junpei gemacht hat, ne? Was ist, wenn wir der Übeltäter sind? Sowas in der Richtung, aber macht keinen Sinn. So, weil die Keycards sind, glaube ich, für die Aufzüge. Nevermind. They were at the end of the hallway lined by individual hospital rooms. Jupiter symbol was engraved on the keyhole.
Alright, Junpei, open it if you please.
Yeah, honored. Junpei pulled the Jupiter key out of his pocket and slid it into the keyhole. He twisted. With a nice, sharp click, he felt the door unlock. Alright, left ready, guys? Junpei's companions nodded. He nodded back, then slowly and quietly opened the door.